Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the middle of the great AI race. We're going to break down how we actually grade these incredibly smart machines, see who's pulling ahead, and figure out what it all means for us.
You know how it is. It feels like every single week there's a new AI model with some cool name like Llama, Quen, or Gemma. It's a constant stream. But with all these players on the field, how do we actually keep score? How do we know who's really the best?
Well, if you go looking for an answer, you'll probably run into something that looks just like this, a leaderboard. And it's just a jumble of acronyms and numbers, right? MMLU, GSM-8K, human eval. Honestly, it usually creates more questions than it answers. What do these even mean?
Okay, let's try to make some sense of all that chaos. Before you can figure out who's winning this race, you've got to understand the rules of the game. So let's start right there. How exactly are we grading these AIs?
You can really break it down into three main methods. We started with totally automated tests. Then we realized we needed people, the human in the loop, for more nuance. And now we're in this really fascinating new phase with a kind of hybrid approach. It really all boils down to a classic trade-off. Do you want speed or do you want depth? The automated tests are kind of like giant, super fast multiple choice exams. They're great for scale, but they can't really tell you if an answer is creative or truly helpful. Human evaluation, on the other hand, is like a detailed essay contest. It's the gold standard for judging things like safety and quality, but man, is it slow and expensive.
So to try and get the best of both worlds, this new idea has popped up, LLM-as-a-judge. This is where you take a really powerful AI, like a top-tier model, and have it grade the answers of another AI. It's a way to get speed and scale, but for those trickier, more nuanced qualities. And believe me, it is a total game changer.
So that's the how. Now, what about the what? What are these AIs actually being tested on? Well, this takes us into the world of benchmarks, which are basically standardized tests, but for machines.
Yeah, think of a benchmark as an SAT or a final exam, but for an AI. It's a totally standardized framework with a set list of questions, specific tasks, and a consistent way of scoring. The whole point is to create a level playing field so you can actually compare one model to another, apples to apples.
And just like our exams, different benchmarks test totally different skills. You've got MMLU, which is like a massive general knowledge exam covering 57 different subjects. Then there's GSM-8K, which is purely about multi-step math problems. And then you have something really practical like SW-Bench, which tests if an AI can solve actual software bugs pulled from GitHub.
But here's the catch. These tests are not perfect, not by a long shot. The biggest issue is something called data contamination. What if the AI has already seen the test answers in its training data? That's not real intelligence, that's just memorization. Then you've got the classic problem of teaching to the test, where models get really good at acing one specific benchmark, but it doesn't mean they're smart in a general sense.
So, if the old ways of testing are kind of flawed, what comes next? Well, all these limitations are actually forcing a huge shift in the AI race. We're moving away from looking for a single winner and toward building something more like a specialized toolbox. And this quote just nails it. The whole idea of finding one best model to rule them all is quickly becoming outdated. What we're seeing instead is this incredible ecosystem of specialized tools where different AIs are built for very specific jobs.
You can see this toolbox idea in action across three big trends. First, you have these giant mixture of experts models like Quen, built for massive general-purpose scale. Then you've got smaller, hyper-focused models from places like Mistral, which are absolute wizards at one thing, like writing code. And finally, you've got these super efficient hybrids like Google's Gemma 3N, designed to be small enough to run right on your phone.
So what does this whole toolbox thing mean for you and me? When we actually need to get a job done, how are we supposed to pick the right AI? It means we have to start asking a different question. We need to stop asking, which AI is the best, and start asking, which AI is the right tool for this specific task? It's all about matching the tool to the job.
Let's make that really practical. Say you need a powerful AI agent that can act like a professional software engineer. Well, you'd look at a specialist like DevStraw. What if you're building an app that needs to work offline on a phone? Then an efficient little model like Gemma 3N is your champion. And if you need to solve really complex math and science problems, you'd grab a dedicated reasoning model like MathStraw. See? Different tools for different jobs. This new reality, this idea of a specialized toolbox, is also forcing us to completely rethink how we're going to test AIs in the future. The old exams just aren't going to cut it anymore.
And that brings us to the next frontier, agentic evaluation. It's a fancy term, but the idea is simple. We're moving beyond asking an AI a question and seeing if it gets the answer right. Instead, we're giving it a complex goal and seeing if it can figure out the steps to achieve it. This means we're going to stop testing a model all by itself in a vacuum. The future is about judging the entire system, the AI model plus all the tools it can use, like a web browser, a code interpreter, or other APIs. Success isn't about getting one answer right. It's about whether the whole system got the job done.
And that really leaves us with this final, powerful idea. The great AI race is changing. We're moving past this obsessive search for the model that knows the most stuff. The new race, the one that really truly matters, is the race to build the AI that can accomplish the most.